All right, guys, so we're going to take a look at an exemplar of the internal assessment. This is the one that we've looked at in class before. We're going to stick with the same one. So this should look familiar to you. You should have a paper copy of this. It's also posted on Google Classroom as well. But we'll take a look at this to highlight things that are good and what you should be doing in your papers, again, to maximize your points. So cover page, keep it simple. You're going to put down IB history, your section level, whether it's HL or SL, internal assessment, put your research question there, and give the word count. Do not put your name, do not put your candidate number. The IAs are to have no identifying information on them. So that is all that goes on your cover page. Right? This person does not have a table of contents. You can put one in if you want. It's really not necessary. There's no grade for formatting on this the way that there is for the extended essay. Extended essay, you need your table of contents and your page numbers, etc. On here, page numbers you should have just as good practice, but this paper is not that long. You really don't need to have a table of contents. If you want to put one in, that's not going to hurt your grade, but again, it's not necessary. So section 1, identification and evaluation of sources. All right, again, if we go back to what we're being graded on in section 1, first thing, an appropriate question for the investigation has been clearly stated. So this person opens up the research paper with the research question. They are checking that box off. It's there, it's blatant, making sure they have it. Student has identified and selected appropriate and relevant sources, and there's explanation of the relevance of the sources to the investigation. So, for the next 2 paragraphs, this student starts each paragraph up by introducing the source. You need to explain what the source is in as much detail as possible. So the person is giving the name of the source, National Archives document of the Bloody Sunday Inquiry, Volume 2, Chapter 19, who published it, the British government, when was it published, 2010. The more information you can give, the better you can establish why it is relevant. So you introduce your source, and then this person, again, keeping it simple, is relevant to this research question, and then they explain why, right? There's no points here for fancy writing. Make sure that you are hitting what you need to hit. And what you need to hit is establishing the relevance of the source to the investigation. And if using a simple phrase like is relevant to this research question because, then use a phrase like that. All right. And then the rest of section 1, they're doing exactly what we do on paper 1, guys. A value of the origin is. They go on to explain that. A value of the purpose is. A value of the content is. A limitation of the origin, right? The limitation of the purpose. Limitation of the, that's a typo, that should say content, not context, right? But this person has hit value on origin, purpose, content, and limitation on origin, purpose, content. So they are checking all of the boxes. And if you went through this next paragraph here, same exact thing. They write it the same way. Introduce the source. Then they establish the relevance is relevant, et cetera, et cetera. And then we go into our values and limitations. All right. So do not add other things in there that you're not being graded on. It doesn't help you at all. Stick to what you're being graded on in this section. This person stuck exactly to that. Helps keep the word count manageable. All right, their section 1 goes just over a page. Now, if yours is double spaced, it's going to look a little longer, obviously. Right, but it's not. Section 1 is not very long. So let's go into section 2, where the bulk of the points are. So for section 2, all right, our investigation. First of all, please do move this to another page. Again, formatting is not a grade, but it makes it easier on the person grading it. So just put a page break, which should be Control Enter, whether you're using Google Docs or Microsoft Word.